Well, hello and welcome to the best football show. I'm Brian Baldinger at Baldy NFL across all social media platforms. You can find the best football show by downloading a free Odyssey app and liking it, subscribing to it, commenting on it, telling all your friends and your enemies about it. We're here every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Thursday, we start looking ahead. We start previewing 3 games every Thursday. And then we'll take a look at tonight's Thursday night matchup, which is a really good NFC West doozy between Seattle and Arizona. But let's start previewing three of the marquee matchups this week: Philadelphia and Tampa. Who's going to be 4-0 after the month of September? Is it going to be Philly? Is it going to be Tampa? Tampa has had Philadelphia's number. Last year, they've had their number in the playoffs and the regular season over the last 5 years. It's just facts. All right. Todd Bowles has gotten after the quarterback with his blitz schemes. But honestly, last year, Philadelphia got wiped up in Tampa. They got wiped up off the mat. It was an ugly, ugly defeat. And but the Eagles had a bye week after that week 4 debacle last year. They couldn't do anything right. They turned the ball over. They couldn't beat man coverage. They couldn't figure out the blitz schemes of Todd Bowles. And they got spanked bad. And then the Eagles had a bye week, and they kind of figured out who they were, that this was going to be a Saquon Barkley game, team and game, and that Jalen just wasn't going to turn the ball over. And in the last 20 games, Jalen Hurts is 19-1 as a starter, 19-1 in the last 20 games, including the Super Bowl victory and the MVP trophy that is his. So let's look at this game a little bit deeper because there's a lot to really unpack here. The Eagles are down a lot of men. Nolan Smith won't play. I mean, he's their best pass rusher off the edge. He's not going to play. He's on injury reserve. Jacorian Bennett, who ended up playing corner last week for the Eagles, is on injury reserve. Adoree Jackson has struggled at the left cornerback position. Keely Ringo might be the next guy up there. It's been an issue. They have not unleashed a pass rush like we saw last year. They have not been taking the ball away outside of Zach Barnes' interception last week. At any kind of a regular basis like they did a year ago. Tampa last week started a backup to a backup right tackle. They started a backup right guard. Their starting center was playing left tackle. I mean, it was just it's who they are right now. And Mike Evans went out with a hamstring injury and is going to miss time. So both teams, I mean, there's no excuses. None. I was in the airport this morning in Philadelphia. I mean, Eagle fans are already going down there. I've done a lot of games between the Eagles and Tampa over the years, and Eagle fans always travel. Big tailgate destination. A lot of Phillies practice down in Dunedin, Florida, right outside of Tampa. Philadelphia fans know Tampa. They're going to be there. There's going to be 15 to 20,000 green jerseys there in that stadium, which Baker Mayfield could care less. Tampa is 3-0 because Baker has taken his team down the field in the final 2 minutes of a game, 3 weeks in a row to win a game. It's really been remarkable how they have done this. And so Baker's been the key. Can the Eagles affect Baker Mayfield and get him off his spot and then get him to do, things with the football that he doesn't want to do, turning it over. He got the ball knocked out of his hands last week. Can they do those kind of things? The guy for Philadelphia that really needs to kind of come alive is Jalen Carter. Jordan Davis has come alive. He's been awesome. Blocked the game-winning field goal last week. Jalen Carter did block the first field goal that was blocked. The Eagles are 3-0, and they could easily be 0-3. I mean, if CeeDee Lamb catches the ball the first week, if Travis Kelce catches the ball at the goal line the second week, if the Eagles can't block 2 field goals in the fourth quarter against the Rams, they get beat. But regardless of all the issues that these teams have, somebody's going to be 4-0 in the month of September and feel pretty good about themselves, even though they've got to overcome a lot of injuries and a lot of turnover from a year ago. The next game I want to really highlight is Indianapolis going to the Rams. I'll be out there Sunday announcing that game for national radio. Is Indiana Jones, as he is now reverently known as, is he for real? I got to tell you, I've watched every snap that Indiana Jones has played this year, going back to their opener when they spanked the Dolphins. to the defeat against, to the win against Denver and then last week. He has not made a mistake. There are 3 teams right now that have not turned the ball over and are 3-0. Tampa is one of them. Indiana is one. Indianapolis is one, and Buffalo is one. They're all undefeated, and they haven't yet to turn the ball over. But Indiana Jones, not only has he not turned the ball over, not only is he making the right reads, but he leads the National Football League in yards per attempt at, I think it's 9.13 or 9.23 yards per attempt, which is if you finish at the end of the year with that stat, you're going to lead the league. That's a sign that the ball is going down the field. And they're hitting on some deep passes, which he is. But it's everything. It's the execution of the offense. Jonathan Taylor is the offensive player of the week in the NFL with the way he ran last week. Everything. He looks like he did 2 years ago when he won the rushing title. He looks like he's back up to speed. But they're using Tyler Warren right. They're getting the ball to all of the receivers. Josh Downs in the slot, the motions right now to all the receivers. They're really doing a great job. And this is a great test because I don't believe that the Rams secondary is great. The Eagles showed that in the second half last week. But their front is elite. Like Jared Verse, when he got to the backup tackle, he ruined him last week, forced the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands, had a fumble, got the Rams up 26-7 in the third quarter, and they lost that game. So I'm sure they're going to, be looking to get back on the win streak. Both, I would say the Rams ran the ball as well as they run it in tandem between Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. In tandem, they ran the ball very well together. And then Nakua and Devontae are nearly unstoppable. And so that's the Colts and Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator. That's sort of their job this week, is limiting the passing game. And so Indianapolis's front, they've invested a lot of money in their guys. Kwity Paye is a first-round pick. Laiatu Latu is a first-round pick. And they're not really doing much right now. DeForest Buckner has been their best defensive lineman by far. But they are not getting great pressure off the edge. And if you don't pressure Matt Stafford, the timing he has with Devontae and the trust that he's built already, obviously, with Puka, it is very, very good. So it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great test. If the Colts and Indiana Jones come away from L.A. with the victory and get to 4-0, this team is for real. And there could be a real changing of the guard in the AFC South. So something to pay attention to. My next game, as I preview these, is the game in Dublin on Sunday morning, Minnesota and Pittsburgh. Both teams last week had 5 takeaways. Obviously, Minnesota blew out Cincinnati. It wasn't close. Isaiah Rodgers is the defensive player of the week. He had 2 takeaways for touchdowns in the first half and a forced fumble that they recovered. They had 5 takeaways. They blew Cincinnati out. Pittsburgh had 5 takeaways, and the last one, created by Nick Herbig, who's filling in for Alex Highsmith, led to the Steelers' go-ahead touchdown. They struggled. Aaron Rodgers, I think, has struggled. If you remember, last year, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets went to play Minnesota in London, and it wasn't pretty for Aaron Rodgers. They got beat that day. He threw interceptions that day. He threw a pick 6. Even with a chance to win the game at the end with a wide-open Garrett Wilson, he couldn't make the throw against the Viking defense. The Vikings defense led by Brian Flores, and it's interesting. Both these teams led the league in takeaways a year ago with 33, tied for the league lead. They both had 5 last week. Pittsburgh right now has 8 takeaways. Minnesota 7. Jacksonville leads the league with 9. But that's what these teams do. Whoever might take the ball away more might win this game. Minnesota just comes at you with so many different looks. There's so many interchangeable parts. Jonathan Greenard, Dallas Turner, Andrew Van Ginkel, Josh Metellus, Ivan Pace. Like, you don't know where these guys are going to line up. You don't know what coverage they're going to play. They're moving around before the snap, and it's not just third down where they throw you a lot of junk. They're going to test your protection. And Pittsburgh's offensive line has not played great today. Broderick Jones, they've just struggled as a group to protect Aaron Rodgers. He's taken way too many hits, and the hits he's taken are too hard. So it's going to be a great test for the Steelers' offensive line to protect Aaron Rodgers against this look. And not to mention, you have to block Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen and some of the guys up front. That's a challenge all by itself. Now you start getting these blitzes, these stunts, and these limbos and stuff that they throw at quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers has to get rid of the ball quickly against this front. They got to see things quickly. But I do think it's going to come down who wins the turnover battle, because both these teams are good at it and depend upon it. And then the last game is tonight's game, which kicks off week 4, which is a really great game. Seattle could easily be 3-0. Arizona could easily be 3-0, but they're both 2-1. Arizona lost on a the last minute and 50 seconds when Mac Jones took the 49ers down the field and kicked a field goal with no time left to win that game. Arizona was in front 15-13. Defensively, they played great. Josh Sweat had sacks on both third downs. Down went Mac Jones. You look at what Calais Campbell did. He basically forced a safety. The guys that they brought in all showed up. Arizona is playing very good football on defense. Offensively, they lost James Conner. He's been their leading rusher since he got there. They're going to lose a lot losing him. Leadership, toughness, breaking, in the passing game, they're going to lose a bunch. Now, Trey Benson can pick up the slack. He's a good runner. I don't think he's the same all-around back that James Conner is. But he's going to be asked now for the first time to carry the load. So we'll see how he does. Seattle, to me, is as complete a team as I've seen. Like, Sam Darnold's playing great. Whether he's getting the ball to Jackson Smith and Jigba or Cooper Kupp or the rookie Torrey Horton, or they're, handing it off to, to K9. They've got balance on offense. It is fun to watch. Graves Abel has made a huge difference at left guard. They're playing very well up front. Defensively, teams are struggling against their defensive front. This is a game where if Arizona can run the ball against Seattle, they'll have a chance to win. If you ask Kyler Murray to go win this game, honestly, he's struggling to get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. That has not been great so far. Maybe there's a breakout game, but Seattle's defensive front, their defensive line, has played great in every game, led by Leonard Williams. I feel like Seattle is in position to win this game, but it's in Arizona. Seattle's got to travel. It's division game. Arizona is a quality defense. They've got good players everywhere. So I think this is going to be a defensive battle, low scoring. That's kind of how I look at it right here. And really, I know San Francisco's undefeated. So both teams are looking up at San Francisco, but San Francisco is, with the injuries they've sustained to Nick Bosa, you can't replace Nick Bosa. Like, he's just a difference maker. Now, we'll get to San Francisco, but for a division game, whoever gets to 3-1 right here, it's going to say a lot about this division. San Francisco will play Los Angeles either next week or the week after on Thursday night. So these division games are going to be huge, really huge. And this one is no different tonight. Well, that's 3 and Out Thursday, everybody. I really appreciate you joining me. I'll be back here next Tuesday to start previewing or to start looking back at what I saw from week 4, which somehow is upon us starting tonight. Thanks for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you next week on the Best Football Show.